got a chance to speak to some of you, and I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. I also want to thank Brian for inviting me to be here. He's such a motivational person, and I've learned so much from him, from speaking to him, and what they're doing at MJC and on the campus. I think it's wonderful, and to bring this type of speaker series is great for not just you guys, but the community all around. So I just want to applaud you, Brian, for doing that. I think you're doing remarkable things, so thank you. Again, thank you all for having me here. And I'm also the marketing director for Stanislaus County Fair, and we just announced TLC today, so I'm super excited about that. Anybody know who TLC is? Yeah, woo! It's the my generation. You young kids probably have no clue. No Scrubs, have you heard of No Scrubs? Okay, yeah, okay. All right, so they'll be here during fair time, and fair is July 12th through the 21st, so you guys check out our website. Okay, so let's get to my topics that we're gonna discuss today. So thrive in adversity, and I wanted to, this is me with the geeky glasses, and I always used to hide these pictures. I never showed them to anybody. Anytime there was any photo being taken of me, I would take off my glasses and just hide them away. And I never really fit in school. By the way, I tell my students to get off the podium, which I will be doing. Can you hear me okay? So growing up as Syrian, I didn't really fit in very well because we lived in Spain for a while, and then we came back here to Modesto, and I went to Our Lady Fatima. Anybody familiar with that Catholic school? Yeah, did you guys go there?
Private school, yeah.
Private school, yeah. So I had been to private school, even in Spain. When I lived there, I went to a private school. Came here, went to Fatima. So, but I didn't really fit in because my parents were very strict. And you know, here I am with the geeky glasses. On top of having these glasses, I got braces. Yay. So, you know, it was just an awkward phase for me. And my mom would pack us Assyrian food. I didn't get those peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that all my friends would get. So it was just one of those things where it is what it is. But one thing was I didn't know any better, and I still had the confidence in myself to be who I was. I didn't let somebody teasing me for my glasses get to me, or for having the braces. I didn't let it didn't bother me. Like, I didn't go home and tell my mom or cry about it. I just kind of would just let it go, right? So then, get to high school. I went to Oakdale High. Anybody from Oakdale? Yeah? Okay, go Mustangs. So I went to high school there in Oakdale. Still, my sister and I were the only Assyrians. Did not fit in at all, completely. Nobody knew what an Assyrian was in Oakdale because they had never heard of us. So I got involved with some clubs. I played volleyball all 4 years. So I was okay. You know, like it was a good experience, minus the glasses, minus the braces at this time. So those were all off, contacts. So, you know, I was getting there to fit in. But my parents were strict. No dances. Maybe I went to 3 or 4 football games. There was no prom, wasn't allowed to do that. So no parties on the weekend. So Monday would come and everybody's talking about that cool party and how they were all drinking. Yeah, missed out on all that stuff. So, but again, I didn't let it bother me. I just, you know, did my thing and graduated and came to MJC. MJC was one of the best experiences I had. I was here for 2 years. And I had the best teachers. I still remember my anthropology teacher. Anybody take anthro? I love that class, loved it. So then, not only that, but you know, you have to take a science course with lab to transfer out. I got smart and I figured out that the following semester, they were introducing Anthro Lab. Do we still have Anthro Lab at MJC? You don't know, whatever. Again, got away with not taking chemistry lab or bio lab. So I took something that I really enjoyed and loved. How many of you have still no idea what you're majoring in? Okay, that was me. Who has no idea what the hell they're doing? Okay, and it's okay not to know. It's okay not to know what you want to major in. It's okay not to know what career you want to get into. MJC honestly was the place for me where I found out what I really loved and what I really enjoyed. And it's okay not to know, because even when I transferred out of MJC and I went into Cal Poly at SLO, San Luis Obispo, I still didn't know. I declared psychology as a major just to get in, but I hated science, I hated math. That's not what I wanted to do. So here I am at Cal Poly, again, not fitting in because I have no idea what I'm doing. Living on my own, first time. I'm free from strict parents. You know, now I have the freedom to do whatever I wanted, basically, but I still had the fear that my mom was watching me. Okay, so I remember my roommate and I wanted to go to LA, and I was scared to go because my mom's gonna find out. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. But Cal Poly was, again, a learning experience for me because I now wanted to change majors. Okay, here's where I messed up. And it's okay to mess up. I declared psychology as a major, not knowing that if I wanted to change majors at Cal Poly, it was gonna take a whole year process just to change my major. Okay, so here I am, alone, at this huge university. I want to change majors, but the obstacles in front of me are huge because I was taking more communication courses because that's what I really wanted to do. But in order to take communication courses, I had to take some prereqs to get into that major, and then I needed signatures from the directors, the dean of the department, to get into the major. And that was gonna take a whole year because I had all these prereqs that I had to take, that I didn't take at MJC. Okay, so then I had to get signatures to get out of the psych department and to also allow me to go into the communication department. So it was just a whole new obstacle that I didn't know of. And I wish I had done my homework when I was here at MJC. Okay, I had done all the prereqs that I needed to transfer out of MJC and into a UC system or a CSU. You guys have the tracks, right? If you want to go to UC, this is what you do. CSU, this is what you do. Okay, so I was following the CSU track. But again, I didn't know enough about Cal Poly. I just liked the campus. It was by the beach, and it was a college town because we went to go visit it, and I just loved it. So about a year and a half into Cal Poly, I realized, okay, it's gonna take another year. I don't have the money. I have to get loans that I don't want to do. So I called my parents and I said, hey, I need to get out of Cal Poly. This isn't gonna work out. I want to major in communication. I love it. So I called UOP, University of the Pacific. I made an appointment with the counselor. My dad came with me. He had baklava in his hand, and the counselor said, all you need is your transcripts and you could get in, as long as you have the good grades. So I got in. I don't know if it was the baklava or the transcripts, but we got in. So, and it took me a year to graduate with my bachelor's. They guaranteed that at UOP. Okay, so UOP fit better for me. As much as I loved Cal Poly and everything about it, UOP for me fit better because it was smaller and the student to teacher ratio is a lot smaller. We weren't just a number. Okay, I was able to go into my professor's office at any time and ask ask any types of questions that I needed, you know, or get a recommendation for an internship. So UOP really opened up a lot of doors for me because it allowed me to experience a world of not only marketing, but public relations, which is what I loved. And one of my professors, we called her Dr. Mom, her name is Dr. Hackley, but she was one of the ones that really inspired me to get into PR and public relations. So right after UOP, I graduated, and then I got into the master's program, did all that, which was a lot of fun. And then comes the real world. I need a job. I did do a lot of internships, but at the same time, I did have a job. When I was doing my master's, I also was a graduate assistant teacher, so I was teaching at the same time. And then on the weekends, I was working at the bank. So I had a full plate, but that's how I loved it. I loved being busy. And I was working at this calendar company called J.F. Turner and Company. They're actually here in Modesto. They're local. They do calendars for like all the NBAs, football games, all the major sports. They do the calendars. And my job was a research assistant, and we got an account to do, to be at the Playboy Mansion and do, I got all the guys' attentions. I saw the guys perk up, like, what? She was at the Playboy Mansion? Yes, I was. But it was a calendar shoot. It's a calendar company, and all the girls were in their bikinis, so nothing nude, no nudity. But again, it got me into how to work with celebrities, how to do a lot of research, how to put events together, and working with high-profile people. And I was only in college at that time. So then after leaving that job and graduating with my master's, I ended up working for a shopping center, and I was an assistant marketing manager. Now that is the job where I really learned how not to be passive. Okay, because a lot of you, I was in your shoes at one point, and I didn't know how to maneuver a toxic work environment. And I talk about it in my book, because a lot of things were happening at that time that I didn't know how to go about. And I'll talk about more about that as we go through the slides. So one thing I want to tell you guys, this is Yoda. My kids are all upset. My boys are obsessed with Star Wars. But Yoda says, no, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. So when I have students coming to me and saying, okay, Dr. Alkhas, I'll try to get that done. I'll try to do my speech. No, there's no trying. You either will or you won't. You either will graduate college or you won't. There is no, I'm gonna try to graduate college. You will finish MJC, you will transfer, and you will get your bachelor's or your AA, or you're gonna get your nursing degree. Whatever your goal is, you need to set out for it. And I tell my students, don't be a professional student. Don't be here for, I get it, life happens and things happen, you get married, you have kids. But I have a lot of students who have had kids, who have kids, and they finish up. When I was getting my doctorate, I was pregnant with my second kid. So you can do it. There's no try. You can do it. You just have to set a goal for yourself and go for it. So in my book, I talk a great deal about women working together. So women working together for one goal: build strong women who collaborate, thrive in adversity. So who here has ever been victimized by a mean girl? Come on. No? None? A lot. Okay. Even some guys have been victimized by mean girls. So the thing with this, and I tell my daughter all the time, she's 11, and I tell her, listen, babe, these mean girls are gonna be here forever. They will be here even when you get into the workplace. And I'll get to that in a little bit, because it was happening to me in the workplace. So you have to understand how to overcome it. And why is it that girls are so mean to each other? What is wrong with us? Why are we so harsh on each other, girls? Oh my God, look what she's wearing. I can't believe she walked in wearing those shorts in the class. Or I can't believe she wore that to work. She's just trying to get ahead with the boss. Why? Anybody have an answer? You guys can shout it out. Jealousy. Insecurity? Huh? We're just bitches? But ladies, if you want the men to take us seriously in the workplace, we have to have each other's backs first. Okay? I tell my girls all the time. My employees I tell all the time. I tell my students all the time. Okay? There is no reason for cattiness. You do your job and you go home. There is no reason to be in the workplace gossiping about each other for nothing. I tell my staff all the time, when you come into this job in my department, you're not allowed to gossip about each other. I don't want to hear it. You do your job and you go home. Yeah, we'll talk about life and things that, you know, are important things. But to talk about what she's wearing and to gossip about her life situation or what she does with her kids are unnecessary things, and I want you guys to take that with you anywhere that you go. It's not just your job. Okay, it's at school too. Because at school, you're gonna have group projects. At school, you're gonna be part of a committee. Okay, you might work with Brian one day, because he works with the students all the time. Okay, he doesn't want to deal with the cattiness. I know I don't, as you know, I'm Assyrian, but I want to go back to 1915, around 1918, with my great-grandparents surviving the Assyrian genocide. So this is in Iran, and they're escaping the genocide because the Turkish government came in to slaughter a lot of Christians, and a majority were Assyrian. So as they were escaping, my great-grandparents had their 6-month-old with them, okay? And at that time, when there was kids and they're walking for 30 days, they didn't want people to the kids were making noise. They were either crying, they were hungry, they're thirsty, and they didn't want the Turkish government to hear any noise as they were walking to escape. So my great-grandmother had a decision to make. Does she leave her child by the tree or keep trekking along? So she ended up leaving her baby by the tree. But as she was walking away, his cries saved him, because she came back for him. And they still walked and walked and walked until they made it to northern Iraq, in Baquba, Iraq, where the British government had a refugee camp for all the survivors. So, and as they're walking along, they didn't have food. The only means of water was when the horses were making footprints. It was also raining, so they would scoop up the water and drink that way. So that's why I call it Footprints in the Mud, the story. And it's in my book. The chapter is called The Battlefield. So they made it to the refugee camps with their baby, which is my mom's uncle, my great uncle. These are my great grandparents, and this is what Assyrians wore back in the day, back in 1915, around 1918. In the refugee camps, there was a lot of food that the British government was giving them, and they didn't know how to preserve the food. My grandmother tells me the story, and she says, the men didn't know what they were doing. It was the women that knew how to preserve and to gather and to teach our children. It was the women that made us survive. The women worked together to survive. Okay? The women made a home in the refugee camps. They made an education system for the 6 months, 7 months that they were there for the kids. And imagine this is war, turmoil. Massacres were happening. And I compare the battlefield to corporate America in my book. Okay? Yeah, you may think, oh, that's a bit drastic, Adrenna. War, corporate America. Yeah, but you have to understand, it's survival of the fittest. Isn't corporate America survival of the fittest?
Amen.
Okay, so is war. So we have to, if these women in war were able to get together and survive by working together, we women in a free country that we are in must also band together and work better together and teach the younger generation, younger women, to work alongside of each other and promote each other. She wants to be a working mom? Awesome. Don't slam her and say to her, or behind her back and say, she's not really a mom, she has other people taking care of her kids, she's at work all day. How many of you guys have heard that about yourselves? You working, okay, totally wrong. Don't listen. You're a mom, whether you're working or not, you're a mom, okay? You go work, you're educating yourself, you're taking care of your kids. Your kids are looking up to you. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you have an education, but you say, you know what, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Because that's what fits with my family. So then there's people that say, oh, she doesn't do anything. All she does is watch soap operas all day and takes care. How many of you have heard that about yourselves? Okay, again, wrong. Okay, you're the most important, that's a huge sacrifice. Okay, huge sacrifice. I have a lot of friends that have their masters and they're stay-at-home moms. That's what they chose. I have friends that are also better moms because they work. How they thrive. And for you men, I know I keep talking about women, but we also need support from you guys. My husband, if it wasn't for my husband, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things that I do right now. You know, he's right now with my daughter at her volleyball practice, and my other kids are with my in-laws. So I have help, and it's okay to ask for help. And if I didn't have that support from my husband, I wouldn't be here talking to you. I wouldn't be able to write my book. He supports me in everything that I do, which is amazing. Okay, because not a lot of guys don't, you know, they don't do that. Okay? Let's see. So we talk about climbing the ladder, and I talk about that in my book a lot. What does the climbing the ladder mean? Do you find yourselves in the battlefield to make it to the top, no matter the cost? Survival of the fittest, which is what I just talked to you about. Do we change our ethics and who we are? Okay, do we slam somebody down so I can get ahead? You have to think about that. Is the workplace in America a battlefield for women versus women? Or men versus women? Oh, one thing I want to tell you guys, and I say this in my book, women, don't compare yourselves to men. You know, when I hear women saying, it's an equal world, I feel like we've made a lot of strides as women. I can be whatever I want to be. I can do whatever I want to do. I can go to school and I could be whatever I want to be. We have skills, some skills that men don't have. Okay? You got to use those, ladies. You got to use those to your advantage. Okay? And then there's some things that men are better than us, and that's okay too. Okay, and I tell my students and my staff all the time, you know, it's okay that we're different. Comparing ourselves should, you know, yes, we want to be equal, but at the same time, there's a reality check, and I'll get to it with another slide. So, how do we overcome this to mentor younger women coming into the workforce? And in order to survive, women must support each other and learn to mentor younger women below you. Okay? So even when I'm mentoring, and if you do become a leader, there's no reason, if there's somebody below you that you are mentoring and you see that they have better skills than you at some stuff, don't be insecure about it. I've seen it happen. It was happening to me with my boss. Not right now, my previous job. Okay? And she was a female. Okay? Instead of supporting the skills that your staff has, okay, and you need to make sure that as a good leader, you're honing those skills and that they grow into them being managers or leaders themselves one day. Don't be insecure in yourself and try to hold that person back because you're scared that they might take over my job. Okay? I hire a lot of millennials. That's because they're better at technology than me. Okay, I hire them because they're sharp. Okay, and I'm not afraid to say I have no idea what you just did with this video. Okay, because Steven, he's my social media guy. He does an amazing job with these videos that he produces. And he's a young kid. He just finished college. Okay. So in my book, I also talk about in the introduction, I talk about superheroes, because you guys, in the 80s, I was little and I was obsessed with comic books. I loved Supergirl from 1984. Anybody watch Supergirl 1984? Come on, you guys. You older people like me in the back. Wonder Woman, I loved. Superman. Christopher Reeve is the best Superman, hands down, right? Yeah, Henry Cavill's okay, he's hot, but I think that's what he has going for him. But Christopher Reeves, anyways, I could go on about that. But I talk about the superhero skills that all the superheroes have, and that is the introduction of my book. Because I talk about all the superheroes and how it appears that all superheroes face a provisional phase where they go through a specific situation that refines their strength and an event that helps define who they will become. Will they be the villain hero or remain true to their heart as someone who saves lives? In any leadership role, you must remember to try to emulate what a woman superhero stands for. No one wants to be the villain leader. Who's had a villain leader? Yeah? So you guys have all kind of faced that? Brian's like, sure. So I'm going to go through these really quickly. And I have a quote from Mark Twain, which is one of my favorite quotes. Kindness is the language with which the deaf can hear and the blind can see. It's a powerful, powerful quote. Okay, so superhero traits for a real leader. Use your superpower skills for good and not to tear someone down. Be the shield for your staff and colleagues. If my staff is making a mistake, that's on me, which happened actually last week. We put the wrong date on one of the apps and it was all over social media. All I was saying in my head was shit, shit, shit. Okay, but it was my fault. Sorry, excuse my language. I know it's being videotaped. But that's on me. I'm not gonna blame the staff because I have the last call and I should have caught that like that. Okay? And there's no reason to throw my staff under the bus. If board members and my boss comes and asks and says, what the heck just went out, that's my fault. Okay? So that in itself, I'm hoping it will gain trust in you have to make sure your staff trusts you as a leader. Okay, if I threw them under the bus and made myself look good, that doesn't make me look good. And I would hate to do that. Because first of all, they're young adults learning. I should have caught that. Be a team player. My God, do I hate narcissists. The me, look at me. Who here has dealt with people like that? Yes, a lot of you in the workplace. For the love of God, do not be that person. Okay? Be humble in everything that you do. Be kind. Your work will show itself. Okay? Keep your head down. Yes, have goals and try to achieve those goals. Okay? And if somebody says, oh, who worked on that project? Say, I did. That was mine. That's okay. Okay, but be humble. Don't go around the office and say, did you guys see what I did? Did you see the award that I got? Oh my God, I'm so good. Like, everybody loves me. And we've all worked with those people, and nobody wants to be around them. Okay? Be humble in everything that you do. Again, a 3 is have humility, bravery, just like in the battlefield. And in our case, when we're trying to climb that corporate ladder, you want to make sure you're not stepping all over people to get ahead. Because when you come down that ladder,